DV Radio is brought to you by Nightcap Productions. You can also find their apps over on your Google and Apple devices. What the Forecast, as well as Backseat Driver that insults you. If you turn left, it probably hates you.
Now I gotta wonder if my dog's gonna toss her salad through the entire show or just for the first 10 minutes or so.
Please remember, the views and opinions expressed by this show or any other show on DV Radio and its guests are strictly those of said individuals and do not reflect those of the DV Radio staff nor the staff of dysfunctional veterans.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Strap yourself in, because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
Attention, everyone.
You're tuned in live.
DV Radio.
Online and on the go on your mobile device.
Listeners' discretion is advised.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get ready to
Hey, you're listening to DV Radio with the old guy. I see Bo, who never leaves his couch for some reason. Google and Recall, and I don't know where Marquis at.
I was going to say he probably went to Kruger.
The little garlic sauce is delicious. You alt-right neo-Nazi bastards better stop it right now.
If you use the cheap sauce, it don't taste good.
It tastes like ass.
And I've got an important message.
Joe Junkie and Carrie Crack are perfectly fine for Tombstone.
Well, Carrie Crack is perfectly fine. She's in New Zealand. I would have sex with Brad Pitt.
How can you even read that with a straight face? Well, I've heard that many like short and tuna can girth, so I'm winning in that round apparently.
You're tuned in to WDVR on DVRadio.net or by searching DV Radio on your TuneIn app on your favorite mobile device.
Because this is how it is on DV Radio.
That is how it is right here on DVRadio.net, WDVR. This is Barracks Talk Live. It's September 8th, 2018. I am Boner Wood. We got DV6, Rico, and Miss Google. Marquis decided not to show up again because, as always, he thinks when one person can die, he doesn't have to show up when they return from the dead. Anyway, DV6, we got a lot to do tonight. How you doing, brother?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm doing pretty well.
Miss Google. Something you want to tell me?
No, it's fine. I said
no. I'm not talking about the pre-show. I'm talking about Miss Google. Is there something I should know?
We got divorced.
Whoa, is there something going on?
So
why is it Miss Google?
So you want me to go?
I don't know. Ask Bo.
Mirrors.
You decided to change me to Miss from Mrs.
So now you want me to go mirrors, Google?
Mirrors.
I've always found that so annoying.
Boner, do we?
Hey, that's perfectly fine with me. Actually, I fucked up because I was about to say Marquis, and I was like, no, I can't put Marquis before Google because he's not here. He don't deserve to go before Google because she's here. So I had to make it sound good.
I was actually wondering if that was something that had happened. I'm like, wait a second, he hasn't mentioned me yet.
Well, I have to say this. I always do come before Google.
But here I am trying to type. He does a joke, and I can't do the fucking soundboard.
All right, everybody. So it is September 8th, 2018. I've got a task for all you DVs out there. We had a meeting at the main office. As you know, DV is broken up into many parts. This is DV Radio, obviously. The page and the forum, that's the social media part. With the moderators and all that stuff, the funny memes, and then each respective department has its own Facebook page, the farm and radio and the main page. Then we also have the nonprofit, which is the DV Farm, and it has an office and all that stuff. So when I say the main office, I'm talking about the one that runs the online store and sends those funny gag gifts out and all that. But we were having a meeting, and one of the things is we were discussing anniversaries, and DV Radio is pretty well defined. I believe it was September of 2014 that we launched, and so that one's easy. But can somebody look to see when I made my first post, our first post on the DV page? I will take care of you. I need a date. Because I've tried looking online or on the go in your mobile app, and I can't find it.
That's a fuckload of scrolling.
I was about to say, give me about 20 years and I'll scroll through it all with my internet access.
20? DV Radio's last notification was 49 years ago.
Right.
That's true.
We'll tell you about that in the radio segment. All right. Well, anyhow, so I'm just, if not, I mean, I've been saying, I think it was the December of 2010, as I just got tossed from somewhere, and I was mad, and I started the page.
Oh, I thought you were talking about your salad.
So there's that. Quick farm update. I've really got to thank all the supporters out there. We're doing really good. When I say we, I mean the men out here are doing really good. They're working the program and this and that, and and it couldn't have been done without the support. Those birthday fundraisers on Facebook, keep them coming. I try to get, without major saturation of the page. I do post. I will share select few, the ones I do see from time to time up on the main page. But, if you raise only a few $100s for your birthday fundraiser, you set your goal for 1,000, 10,000, whatever, but you only raise a few $100, don't be disappointed. I mean, because as a whole, there's tons of other people doing it. And then Facebook has their department called Network for Giving or Network for Good, cuts a check to the farm, and they don't take out any fees. And we get them every 30 days. And it's a major, major help in the operational costs of this place. So I just want to shout out to that. The smile.amazon.com. Those things, we've been making posts all week about that, and there's still a ton of people that do not know about that. Go to smile.amazon.com, select DV Farm as your charity, and at no cost to you, Amazon donates a portion of your sale to the charity of your choice. So those are really doing well. Let's see. Guys went fishing, told you about that in August, deep sea fishing. We will be at the Keene, New Hampshire stand down on September 14th. I can't get up. Next Friday. So if you're a New Hampshire resident, a lot of New Hampshire news tonight on DV Radio. We got Dr. Stewart Levenson I'm going to be interviewing. And he's our running for 2nd congressional district of New Hampshire. But anyhow, DV Farm, we're doing great. We do need donations, and the kind that we're looking for is we need lumber. So if you own a lumber company, that'd be great. Come down and chop our trees down and give us some wood. No, seriously, we need a lot of lumber. We have to build stalls inside that Quonset hut, and we need to put up a few corrals before the snow flies here. The men have been busy leveling out the floor in there, and we're about to start building. So if you're interested and want more information, please contact me at the farm email address, info@dvfarm.org. So, other news. Facebook page is still being funny. Haha. Facebook be locking down the funny memes. If you're wondering why they're mostly rated G, you can thank Facebook for that. So, all right. Bone to pick. All right. Did you know, Boner, I used to be homeless?
What?
Yeah.
Nuh-uh. You liar.
I know. So I've been following this story. I don't know. Maybe you've heard it in the news. Maybe. I mean, you might not have, but there was this vet, homeless guy in, I think it was Philly. He gave his last $20 to help this young girl get gas for her car. And then, the rest is history, as they say. Well, it's been a shit show ever since. So all the articles have been coming out. And then there were questions about where's this guy getting his money. They raised the U.S. or people from all over the world, $400,000 people donated. The GoFundMe said something like, look at this man. He's homeless. He's in the Navy. He gave me his last $20. Let's get him $10,000. I want to get him set up an apartment, blah, blah, blah. They ended up raising $400,000. $400,000. Because people really, you got to understand how GoFundMe it doesn't go directly to the individual. It goes to the person who started the GoFundMe. And So instead of like, hey, this kid's got $400,000, the people who started the GoFundMe, that girl and her, is it her boyfriend? Yeah, husband.
Yeah, I think it's her boyfriend, fiance, or something like that.
They decided to impose morals and stuff, and they started, would only give them so much. But next thing you know, they're going on all, on their social media, they're posting all these vacations. She's a state worker. I mean, what do we get? Like in the government, don't you get something like 30 days a year vacation time?
Somewhere in there.
Ridiculous. I know that.
Yeah.
Well, it's all, hey, I got a job, I can afford these helicopter trips and, going to the Oscars and, no, I don't know if she went to the Oscars.
Extravagant trips is how the news media has put it.
Well, the one that it finally started coming to a head was people were starting to ask, why hasn't this kid gotten his money? And they went on Megyn Kelly last week, and they were adamant. 1 minute she's angry, and then when the questions got home, Megan was a little hard and pushed back a little. Then the tears flowed. We bought him a camper and a truck. Found out the truck was over 10 years old. The camper was a piece of shit. They let him live on his land. They gave him $25,000. There's no proof, but I think he admitted, but he fell back to using drugs and all that. See, this is why he can't have the money, and we can account for everything. And they're so full of shit. Following week comes out, the lawyer for the vet, it's been confirmed the money's gone, and their house got raided and everything.
Yep.
And this is where, it's not so much, that. I mean, I do have a problem with that. But it was reading the comments from people justifying, right or wrong, the people not giving him that money. Forget the fact that they were blowing his money on trips, buying new vehicles while this guy got a piece of shit car. When you donate money to somebody, it's not to go through a third person and that third person decides if that person should get it. When you give money to somebody, and when you give somebody money, you give the money. It's like borrowing money from your mom. They're not your mom. Now, don't you spend this on drugs or alcohol, Michael.
That's exactly what me and my mom were talking about. If they had made an agreement with him beforehand, look, if you go to rehab, we'll work with you. We'll get someone to help take care of your finances, get you back on your feet. If they'd went that route, I would have had a problem with how they gave him the money. But the way they say they gave him the money and then what they done with the money, that's where I had the problem with it.
In the GoFundMe, the money was being raised in his name for him. There was nothing in there about we're going to buy cars and go on trips or you can't do drugs and this and that. It was for him and the money for him alone. If he ended up dead or whatever, we'll never know because he never got all the money, which GoFundMe is not going to give him the $400,000. The thing is, the bone I have to pick is all the people justifying what they did, even though it's clear as day that they were robbing him. It had nothing to do about morality. The money went to their head. It's clear as day. But the money was his. Now, if the man went and blew it all, well, lesson learned on the people who donated. But this is not how giving money works, unless you're giving it to a church and they spend it on little boys or something. Come on. It's out and out. That's thievery. That's stealing.
Yeah.
I agree.
100%.
Is it GoFundMe's responsibility to make sure that these people actually do with the money what they say they're going to do with the money?
Well, look, if we don't do it in DV, I went right after that story, and I was preparing for this topic here. I started searching DV Farm charity GoFundMe's, to see what we got out there. There are GoFundMe's for DV Farm that that other people are doing that we've never seen the money for.
Yeah.
From other people using a logo. Some using our logo, some not. There was a couple. So here's anybody, is saying they're raising money for somebody else, One, it's a free country. Still, I don't care what people say. We're borderline communists in a way, but, you should do your homework and make sure, you're giving it to a trusted source. And this thing with the kid and all that, that was a fairy tale, Sometimes things have to get worse before they get better. We'll never know, how this would have turned out if they had just gave it all to him. You can hypothesize all you want. You stole the money, and your boyfriend gambled away, supposedly only $500, but he paid it right back. Yeah, I don't buy that for a minute.
See,
now that money rolled in.
That's another thing, Six. That's another thing I've heard different stories about. First, it was $200, then it was $500, then it was like somewhere in between, and I'm like, you can't even keep your own fucking story straight about how much you spent and then gave back. Like, come on, guy.
Yeah, they've totally destroyed their life. Well, they deserve everything they get. But again, reading the comments, people not buying that a junkie would not give up. If he does drugs and all that, I can't see him giving up his last $20. Like I said at the beginning of this broadcast, did you know I was homeless? I used to have a rule when I was, there are people, just like there are different kinds of, some veterans are assholes. Some homeless people are assholes, and then there are fucking good people out there that are homeless. I was both. I was a street person for a few years that was hardcore homeless. And I'm out there hustling for money and shit like that. But I had a couple rules. I'd do one good deed of the day. I'd beat the fuck out of one person a day. I'd have one good meal of a day. And I would get wrecked, high, drunk, whatever. But my one good deed of the day, he could have had something like that. But, unless you're actively getting high, if he's out there just, in between his highs, yeah, I can see him give him $20. Seeing it all the time. Seeing it all the time.
He could have been hoping to get laid. You don't know.
Yeah. So that was another one. And the other, like I said, they're just this is why I don't give to GoFundMe's and this and that. Really? I mean, because, so I put out, I'm going to say it again. Somebody was already in touch with the page yesterday that's in the area and says they can track him down. But for that Johnny, God dang it, I had his name. Bo knows his name. For that individual we're talking about who got robbed of his GoFundMe money, Johnny Bobbitt.
Yes.
Is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah. If anybody knows where he's at, have him get in touch. I'd love to, if he has a drug and alcohol problem and all that, I'd love to see him come up to the DV farm to get better. I'd work with him. But you need, have him contact us. We're listed on the internet and things like that. And have him come fill out an application and do an interview. I'll see what we can do. But I think the people who did this are going to get what they deserve. And it's hilarious, especially with that Megyn Kelly interview. I watched the whole thing.
You think about it, 3 things could have came from that. One, that could have been enough for him to be like, holy shit, people do care about me. I do need to change my life and turn it around. And he could have turned around. A second thing that could have happened, he could have blew it all on fucking dope or whatever. And that would have been the end of it. The third thing that would have happened, he could have took some of that money, used it for himself, and then blew it on dope. And that would have been the end of the story. But we'll never know because they had to be dickbags about it.
Well, I'll give you a little quick story. Another buddy of mine, he was homeless with me on the streets, and he's actually is a Navy and Army vet, Vietnam era, and I left years ago, and he went his own way, and I'm here now. But he had years ago got back. His claim finally got pushed through. You remember the big backlog years ago? Mm-hmm. He had been fighting the VA for a while. He got over $100,000. He got, I think, maybe $150,000, $200,000 back pay. This is before they capped it at 2 years or something. It went back quite a ways. And I told him, buy a house, buy something, put it in get you a money manager or something, and he didn't. And his family took advantage of him. He took his family in, he took his, got back to it with his ex-wife, and they robbed him blind and kicked him out of the house. And, all the money's gone. And he can go to court all he wants, but you can't get blood out of a stone or whatever, money out of a rock. And he's living in a hotel room right now. So, it's just, with that much money, But you're right, Bo. But it was his decision to make, not somebody else's. People gave money not to you, girl, but to that person you were raising money for. You changed the rules and all that, and then you stole the money. So, I hope they get everything they deserve. And yeah, so hey, check out the DV store. We've got some new shirts out. We got some that'll piss people off, some that are funny. And we're working on a new kind of cologne. I wouldn't wear this cologne, but I would spray it on somebody else. And it's nasty. We're going to call it something like Porta Potty Pot-Purée or Baghdad Blueberry.
Potpourri? It's not Pot-Purée.
I was about to say, you mean potpourri? Like that scent stuff that you pour into the water and burn? Like that shit? Fucking potpourri.
Did I say that?
Yes.
Yes, you said Pot-Purée.
What you having for dinner tonight? I'm having some of that potpourri Mama brought over the other night when we had that big old potluck.
Oh, I know I said it like that because the porta potty messed me up.
Whatever. You read it the way you had it wrote.
Oh my god.
Fucking
Go to mydvstore.com, and if you guys missed out, did a live video. We the other day ran a half off on all our t-shirts there. So it's going to take us a minute to rebuild that. But go check out the new shirts we got, and yes, you can send a bag of dicks to Nike. I'm sure we'll talk about that later tonight. But my time is up. I want to thank everybody, and I'll see you. I'm gonna go get a cup of coffee, and don't let them forget. But I'm gonna be talking to somebody.
Yes,
hey, I have one quick question for you, Six. Are these people that stole the money? Are they gonna have to pay it back to them?
They're going to court. They have a court date, and there's a freeze on their assets, and yeah, there's quite a bit. They've already pleaded the fifth. Their lawyer says they plan on pleading the fifth when they go to court next week.
Oh, so they'll be like politicians.
Yeah, well, they're guilty.
Some politicians. I mean, you know.
Yeah, not the one coming on here in the
I was more referring to the other party.
And I will not swear during the interview, because just in case it makes it on mainstream media.
Yeah.
Better not swear.
Right.
I'll go spray some puree on me.
Oh my God, pot-puree. I've heard it all now. When he said pot-puree, I thought I heard him wrong, but then you spoke up Google, and I was like, yeah, we heard him correctly. Jesus, that's
that
DV6
so
for you, everybody. Oh my God. But yes, as DV6 mentioned, we do have a guest right after the first break. It is Dr. Stewart Levenson, Republican, running for New Hampshire's 2nd District. He's going to be on, like I just said, right after the first break. If you guys haven't been paying attention to the DV Radio Facebook page or the Dysfunctional Facebook page, we have added the host playlist to Spotify. Our Spotify. Oh, yeah.
I like that, Bo. That was a good idea.
Well, see, me and
I thought he was on after the first break.
First break, second break, whatever. I'll edit it in. I'll edit it. I'll edit it later. I'll edit it later. God damn it. Jesus. Fucking pot-puree fucked me up. Fucking hell. Son of a bitch. Make
Tonight after the 12th break.
Make one mistake. Make one mistake. And they all fucking jump down your goddamn throat. But anyway, yes, we have made our own. What's that, Recoil?
Coming up at the end of the first quarter.
At the end of the first quarter at the 50-yard line.
Right after Google has her third period.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking Christ. Son of a bitch. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. No, he didn't just... Oh, my God. Here I am trying to push a fucking... Oh, my God. Ugh. Ugh, ugh, ugh.
Oh, man.
Okay,
that
so
was pretty funny, though.
Jesus. What you guys didn't know for a long time is me and Recoil have been trying to put this together for probably, about a year now, Recoil, these playlists?
Oh,
yeah, something like that.
I was going to say, it is legal now for you two to get married.
So, if you haven't been paying attention to the Dysfunctional Veterans or the DV Radio Facebook page, we have posted the link, which is right there under the More tab on dvradio.net. All you can see is hosts, but it's called Hosts Jams, and we've got DV6's Recoil's 2 playlist, country and a rock, and my playlist, which is my actual personal playlist that I listen to when I work, as well as we're going to get Marquis and Google's and anybody else that has a show right here on DV Radio. We're going to have their playlist for you guys to follow on Spotify. Anytime they want to add a song, it's going to be added, and you'll get to hear it too. Most of them are over an hour. I think mine's like 22 hours and 22 minutes or some shit. Did not realize I had a fucking playlist that long. But DV6, he's got some old-timey man stuff over there. So, yeah. But we've got those for all of your listening pleasures. So please follow those so you can keep updated with the music that we listen to in our personal lives.
Like we have one.
I was going to say, even though we don't have one. Oh my God.
Starting to fall asleep.
Hey, can I start my playlist with just one song and then just like randomly
I
think of it?
I am not going to take the time of day to fucking post a one song playlist. Ain't no fucking
Why not?
way.
That'd be great.
Ain't no fucking way.
Oh,
language tonight.
She can do a one-song playlist. It'll be the song that never ends.
Well, 6.
exactly. See,
6. We got to get all the cursing out before the guest comes
You're
on.
just
After
making
the
it
first
harder for me to stay clean with words.
Finally.
oh goodness. Well then,
that's going into the intro next year. Just so you know.
staying clean with words.
No, you're making it hard for me to stay clean.
Gotcha.
But yes, as DB6 mentioned, please go to smile.amazon.com if you're going to go start shopping for anything upcoming like the holidays, for example. Be sure you make DB Farm your charity of choice. When you check out, a portion of your shopping cart goes to the DB Farm. No hidden fees or extra costs. And it, again, goes to the DB Farm. That's smile.amazon.com. Make DB Farm your charity of choice. And if you guys didn't hear last week, September 1st. I forgot that we were in the second week, obviously. But we do have a sponsor now. It is Nightcap Productions. They are the creators of What the Forecast as well as Backseat Navigator. They're both wonderful, hilarious apps. If you want to look at your weather and have a little bit of hilarity to your day, please go download that app right now. It's on your Google and your iOS devices. Just go to your appropriate app store and download it. Like this morning at 8:04, mine said this is the perfect day to shit yourself in public, which was pretty appropriate for me, seeing as how I've got fucking Crohn's. So,
well, Google likes the
Backseat Navigator
one. Yeah.
So, Google, what are some of the things that the Navigator says really quick before we go to break?
It called me a mouth breather. It did. It was funny. It yelled at me because I decided to stop at a store and that was not mapped on my route. So, it said the one time you don't follow directions is right now.
She called me. She called me to tell me I love this. I'm like, yeah, but I say those things to you, and I'm a bad guy.
You don't. No. Don't try to insert yourself into this backseat navigator. No.
All right. Yes. So please go download those apps. Show your support for our wonderful sponsors, Nightcap Production, Mr. William King. Thank you so much for sponsoring DV Radio. We do have to go to break. On the other side of the break, we will have Dr. Stewart Levenson. Again, he is the Republic running for New Hampshire's 2nd District. DV6 is going to try to interview him if he's able to do so. But you are listening to Barracks Talk right here on dvradio.net.
DV Radio.
Do you love bacon?
Yeah!
Do you like guns?
Yeah!
Mom, I want my cheesy boost. Yeah, god damn it.
Do you love America?
Damn right you do. You crazy bastards that keep freedom ringing need to get over to mydvstore.com now.
You're listening to WDVR, only on DVRadio.net.
And we're back to DVRadio.net, WDVR on Barracks Talk. I am Bunnerwood. We got DV6, Google, and Recoil. We also have, as our guest tonight, who DV6 is going to interview, Dr. Stewart Levenson. Again, he is the Republican running for New Hampshire's 2nd District. Are you there, Dr. Levenson?
Yes, I am. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming on. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. It's
Good.
been a long campaign, and hopefully we'll see some positive results within 60 hours.
Good. Yes, that's all right. You've got the primary elections coming up this Tuesday, correct?
Yes, that is.
Outstanding. DV6, would you like to go ahead and
Yeah,
go with your
hey,
interview?
Dr. Stewart Levenson, this is Mike Rivers again. And I want to thank you. He was one of the only politicians who came out here to DV Farm last month, or in the end of July, to do our memorial for our forgotten soldiers. It was great meeting you out there, and thanks for coming out.
Well, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was a lot of fun meeting you guys. It wasn't fun being there for such a solemn occasion. I would say that I don't consider myself a politician. I consider myself a doctor who's getting involved in civic affairs, and taking care of veterans has always been important to me. And that ceremony itself showed how forgotten veterans have been, even though we pay a lot of lip service towards providing veteran services.
Well, I purposely called you a politician so that you could remind everybody that you're not, and you're a doctor. I watched your debate on WMUR, and I think you did a really good job. You stood out, in my personal opinion. You stood out.
Well, thank you.
With your answers, and so what I want to do is I've got like 5 or 6 questions. We might not be able to get to them all, but depending on how fast we get answers. Hopefully, New Hampshire residents, anybody that's going to be voting, most Republicans do vote and they do care. So I've picked some of the ones that I think, my personal opinion, are important to me, and in addition to other New Hampshire veterans, and if there's any civilians listening. So my biggest question for you, Dr. Levenson, is why did you choose to run?
Well, because the career politicians are ignoring the needs of the constituents, or like I said last night, if Ann Custer had done her job, I wouldn't be running. And frankly, if the other people on the stage were electable, I wouldn't be running. We need to get rid of Ann Custer. We need to restore some accountability to government. And the only way that's going to happen is if the non-politicians, such as myself, get involved. I have a wonderful career. I love taking care of patients. I certainly don't need to go to Congress for an income, and therefore that's what makes it necessary to do this, because I'll go to Washington, do the job that the constituents sent me to do, and then I'll leave after a period of time. And as I tell people, I'm a rheumatologist. The only way you're going to hear from me in, say, 6 years is if you develop rheumatoid arthritis.
You actually can have a job after you leave without having to go on book tours and everything. You did work at the VA, and this is a bone I have, not with you, but with the VA I have to pick. And I read your note on Facebook that's pinned to the page and about the VA and about the Manchester, specifically the Manchester VA. You want to give our listeners, for those who don't know, Dr. Stewart Levenson blew the whistle on that VA. Can you give our listeners, the background on what happened and why you had to do what you did?
Well, I've been at the VA for over 18 years. For the first 10 years or so, I was a staff physician, and I found out the needs of the veterans extended well beyond the exam room. So I eventually became the department chairman and then the regional medical director for Vision One New England, the New England VA network. And the VA was never a high-functioning organization, although I like to think that most veterans got good care, but it didn't excuse the ones who fell through the cracks. But after a certain number of problems happened. There was no more solving problems. The leadership decided to cover up problems. And that's where I got off. I mean, you can't always be great at solving problems, but you at least address them. And as long as I could do my job with integrity, I had no desire to be a whistleblower. But then things were piling up, flies in the OR. There was dirty surgical instruments being reused without being sterilized. 3,000 Veterans Choice consults were waiting to be seen, some of those with immediate needs, such as heart disease. One had lung cancer. I mean, when I reviewed them, I said, these patients need to be seen yesterday, and nothing was happening. Doctors came to me and said, Stewart, what are you going to do about this? I went to the VA leadership, and nothing was being done. So a group of us doctors got together and got in touch with Ann Custer through our attorney, and we scheduled a meeting. The meeting with her, first, she said, the VA in Manchester is not in my congressional district, which I couldn't believe. None of us could believe, because she is the ranking Democrat on the VA Oversight Committee. How many thousands of veterans in her district use the VA? So it was just one thing after another that just made my blood boil. And then 5-10 minutes into our meeting with her, she says, I have to go now. I'm going to a fundraiser. And if you want to continue this conversation, we can do it there. And in front of us were high dollar contribution forms.
Was she even alarmed, or did she express any outrage, or what was her tone?
Initially she pretended to care, like, oh, that's very serious. And then it was like she looked at her watch. She was bored, it seemed, and time to go collect the $200.
What did you do?
The next week was a tough week for me. I knew what I had to do, but it took me a few days to get my courage up, because I knew once I went public, once I went to the Boston Globe, my VA career would be over. I knew they would retaliate against me. So I called the Boston Globe, and I contacted the editor. I emailed the Boston Globe. I said, I have a letter from the chairman of neurologic surgery at New England Baptist, one of the world's foremost institutions for back surgery. And he said in that letter he hadn't seen care this bad since doing pro bono work in rural Nigeria.
Oh, wow. So they did the story. It came out. Unfortunately, though, like you said in your letter here, and this might be a compliment, because it seems to me that they're treating you just like they do us, with lip service.
That's exactly it.
And that's sad. It's sad. I mean, I heard the VA secretary promised to do a task force or something, and basically nothing happened. That VA out there in Manchester is still never going to be a full service VA, and they're still busing people to White River, which
it doesn't necessarily have to be a full service VA. If you use some of the community, it depends on how you envision the care. Because New Hampshire, you have veterans in the northern part of the state. They would have to drive 2.5-3 hours.
Absolutely, but Manchester is in a really built up area.
Yeah.
And usually all major metropolitan, Massachusetts has 6. Possibly more throughout the whole state. And as it's noted in your letter too, and I know that, New Hampshire. So if I drive and I want to use the VA in my state and I drive there, unfortunately I can't get, it's the reason why we drive now from our organization to White River, because if one of our guys, people do travel in caravans or carpool. Yeah. And if one guy needs to get an x-ray, I know they can do x-ray there, but anything, and not all of them can get the services. They're all going to have to be shipped out to different hospitals. I mean, this is the United States of America. You could get everything under one roof. That's a big hospital. It's an old hospital.
Yeah, the issue in Manchester, though, the building is over 60 years old. It's falling apart. It had to be closed during the flood damage. Well, to address the shortcomings after the whistleblower report came out, Secretary Shulkin came to New Hampshire with $30 million in new funding for Manchester. And so I said, well, wait a minute. Don't spend this money on revamping a building that costs more money to maintain than it would to rebuild. Let's put it towards getting more money to rebuild this building, and in the long run, it would be cheaper. And so we met with Congresswoman Custer again, who initially, when the Boston Globe article came out, she went on WMUR and said that she had been working with the whistleblowers for over a year, that she was on top of this. So, I mean, it was just one thing after another. So we met with her again and said, look, let's not waste this money. We need a new medical center. It could be a full-service hospital or not, but it has to be a 21st century building. And her response was, well, any new building projects are going to California because they have 50 Congress people and we only have 2. And my response to her is, it sounds like California has 51.
Yeah, well, that was good. You know, again, it's just, all right, I get that you get what we as veterans go through, and I applaud you for standing up and putting your mouth where you're, putting your reputation on the line and your job and all that. You had the courage to do what most people don't.
Thank you. That's my definition of leadership, though. I mean,
absolutely,
if you're not going to
doing the right thing. If it was easy, everybody would do it. A little bit of a challenge here. I mean, you have to stand up on principle. I mean, dirty instruments and flies, and it's just disgusting. You speaking of the VA though, keep this moving. So that's in a nutshell where folks that Dr. Levenson comes from. He's already started the fight to fix the VA. Now there was an article that just came out. There's a bunch of lawmakers asking the VA secretary. Now, after what you told me about him, I doubt this will happen, but they're pushing for the VA secretary to research marijuana as an alternative to opioids. What are your thoughts on that? Well,
this is a new VA secretary. Secretary Shulkin was fired. I actually talked about that on Fox News at one point, that it was a shame because he actually had a lot of credibility when he first took the job because he was a doctor, and it was my hope that a doctor would understand the veterans' medical needs more than anyone else, but that didn't pan out. But the new VA secretary, the research on marijuana, remember, marijuana is still illegal on the federal level. So that causes problems with state issues because if you live in a state where even medical marijuana is legal, and you come to the VA and you're getting opioids and they do drug testing and you test positive for marijuana, it doesn't matter that it's legal. They'll cut you off.
But so it's a whole nother thing. And, and like I said, and then that you're stating the facts of the case too, but would you be willing to meet with both sides to maybe try to find something that could offer an alternative for people? And we're not just talking about the ones who are on opioids. We're talking about those who would rather not take opioids.
Well, we don't have a monopoly on knowledge about this. If it's making people feel better who have significant medical problems or PTSD or what have you, my opposition to marijuana is not based on being puritanical. Yes, let's get people the medications they need. If the veterans prefer medical marijuana, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. We just have to take some minor steps, make sure it's not being abused, but that's not an issue. Because there have been some at least anecdotal evidence that it does provide legitimate good for a lot of different illnesses, especially those that the veterans are suffering from. So I don't have a problem with that at all. And I would say that perhaps marijuana should be rescheduled by the federal government to be a Schedule II, which means it can be utilized in federal facilities. My issue is in terms of New Hampshire's being surrounded now by states that recreational marijuana is being legalized. And that's a threshold I think we should avoid, at least for the time being. But in terms of medical marijuana for veterans, I started off my campaign saying that what a terminal cancer patient uses to help their suffering is none of my business. Well, veterans coming to the VA, they shouldn't be told what care they need if they know what makes them feel better, because we're talking about pain. We're talking about the suffering of PTSD. So therefore, I would be on board if in some way the medical marijuana could be monitored appropriately, and as long as it wasn't abused. Let's get the veterans the care they need.
Good answer. I like that. All right. On the Second Amendment, what's your view on, what's your current view and stand on the Second Amendment? And with that being said, too, keep in mind you're going to a deeply divided, when you get elected, deeply divided Congress, and all these proposals to add new laws to the Second Amendment. Where do you stand on the Second Amendment?
Well, I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I'm a firearms instructor with the state of New Hampshire. I teach hunter education to new hunters. I'm a big believer that gun control is the death of 1,000 scratches. The gun control advocates are they just want one more little law, and before you know it, there are two ways of eating a bunch of grapes. You can either gobble the whole bunch of grapes or pick them one at a time. And they tell you they want a simple law that will just prevent some problem, when in fact it's overreaching and it's designed to make guns more difficult to obtain by law-abiding citizens. And in the sense, it's going to compromise people's constitutional rights.
And you had brought on that, I just, watching I never thought about this myself, but you had said something during the debate about, you brought up the fact that truckers can't even protect themselves because they're going across state lines, and you had proposed something about addressing that need. And then I like that. Could you elaborate on that?
I didn't bring that up, but I'm a big believer in national reciprocity. This almost happened to me. I was driving in southern New Hampshire. I was driving from a sort of a marginal neighborhood in a town in New Hampshire to
probably Hillsborough.
No. Oh, come on. But I was driving to the Nashua Mall, and I didn't realize that the road goes through Massachusetts for about a quarter of a mile. Well, I hit the brakes, changed my shorts, and then I have patients. Veterans who lost their gun and almost lost their freedom over that. One patient of mine, a veteran, he was driving along the southern border of New Hampshire. At that time, New Hampshire did have concealed weapon permits. Now it's constitutional carry. He was carrying his gun, $1,200 H&K. He was very proud of. He bought it with money he got paid from the government when he got when he got back from deployment. And his girlfriend called him. Her car broke down, and he didn't realize it was on the Massachusetts side of the border. Her car is there with the hood up. He pulls over, and he sees it's on the Massachusetts side. Well, he didn't realize a state trooper was watching him, and he got arrested with the gun. And the judge was at least deferential that he was a veteran, and gave him a so-called quaff, continuation without findings, which meant if he didn't get into any trouble in 5 years, the case, it would go away. But he lost his gun, couldn't get it back, and the whole thing to me was horrible. He should have gotten his gun back. He should have never been charged with a crime. The law made him a criminal, not his act.
Exactly. And, before we run out of time, I really need to get into this, and it's a big mess, but where do you stand on the wall with illegals, in-state tuition for giving rights to people who want to come to this country illegally and not assimilate, and by not assimilating, but they enjoy all the fruits of our great country. In California, they're proposing letting them vote in regular local elections. One of the politicians down in Boston even started that thing. In California, they give driver's licenses. Just this whole, do you believe in the wall? Do you believe that people that come to this country should come here legally and then assimilate? Should they enjoy those? I heard you bring it up. I think you had to pay out-of-state tuition or something.
Well, no, it wasn't that. It was just that if the money is there, I'm giving in-state tuition to illegals. Just violates everything that I believe in. I was paying in-state tuition at a city college in New York City, but if they were giving in-state tuition to illegals, it meant everyone's tuition would have had to gone up. So it took me 7 years to get through college. I was working as a waiter. I was working as a factory worker. We need a wall. It'll help with the opioid crisis. The drugs are coming across our southern border. This is just too much. I'm all in favor of legal immigration. I'm in favor of getting people here who will add to our culture, add to our society, people with good work ethics, who will do the jobs that in many cases Americans won't do, or especially now with our economy growing, but not having a wall. We're only getting people coming here, sanctuary cities, people looking for asylum without doing it the right way, and whether they're really legitimate asylum seekers or not. This is terrible. I mean, we have to start taking care of our veterans. The cost of a sanctuary city. Look at all that money that could be going for taking care of those that paid heavy dues to this.
Well, they're circumventing the law in a lot of those where they're not cooperating with other police agencies or federal agencies. What plans do you have, Dr. Levenson, when you get elected, to make yourself more accessible to all your constituents and to the average, just somebody that's not I don't think you have these huge donors in your pocket, because I've yet to donate, been broke. But do you have any plans to hold town halls if you get elected and make yourself accessible to the people of your district?
I'm glad you asked that, because I have a lot of thoughts about that accessibility. I believe that, well, first of all, I intend to work close to 24/7 as possible, because I believe in term limits. So I intend to work until I'm near burnt out. And that means there'll be time in the day where I can meet with constituents, where I'll have not only town hall meetings, but I'll have my staff travel from town to town, maybe use some unused office space in town halls. So you don't have to drive 2 hours to present your problem to Ann Custer's district office. My office will come to you, and I'll tell you, I'm going to go one step better. I'm going to give direct access to the constituents. They're going to be able to call me. There'll be like office hours, like when you're in college, you can go to the professor. You don't have to go through the TA. With me, there'll be times of the day reserved for calling me directly, or even down in Washington, meeting with me directly, because not only do I feel it's my obligation, but I just love doing that. I mean, one of the nicest things about running for office has been meeting all the wonderful people in my district. And I'll tell you, I really miss seeing the veterans as much as I did when I was working at the VA. It was the greatest group of patient population. So anytime
Is there a difference between a veteran patient and a civilian patient?
Oh, there's a big difference. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, I love all patients. I love taking care of patients, but the VA has a special group of people, camaraderie, common cause for being there. They look out for each other, and plus the fact you wouldn't offend them if you got a little coarse with your language. You could be honest with them. You could be open with them. It was a two-way street. I mean, I've had veterans come in. They identified me with the system, so they'd come in cursing me out, and it would be like, hey, that's their right. I'd have fun with it. I mean, you calm them down. You say, look, I'm here to help you. You want to keep going? I can join in. We had so much fun. I mean, it was great. I missed that. That's why when somebody says, oh, you became a whistleblower to go into politics, I miss my job. If Ann Custer had done her job, I would have still had my job.
Well, I've got to thank DV Boner and AJ for putting this together. But we managed to get all my questions in, and there's one other New Hampshire resident, my wife, who's also a female vet. Google, do you have anything that we got a minute, that needs to be brought up?
Well, yeah, but it's not about like the veteran side. I was more wondering, like, Obamacare. Everyone's always, like, well, premiums are going up because Trump is in office. And I know that he's trying to get rid of it because it's kind of horrific the way everything was happening. What's your take on that, or even making it like universal health care? Because, that's what the other side wants.
Well, the other side wants single payer disguised as universal health care. Obamacare has been a disaster on so many levels. I could spend the next hour talking about how bad Obamacare has been.
you brought up some good points in the debate, and I'd like to. You got 60 hours left. We won't get you on again, but you folks need to go listen to that WMUR debate and where you talk about that. You are right. It is a mess, and it's really complicated. I think the best advice we can give anybody, Dr. Levenson, if they want single payer health care, look at the VA.
Well, I don't know. I think the VA is not the worst.
The one in
single
Phoenix.
Payers. Okay, the one in Phoenix for sure. Well, I would like to say though that thank you for having me on the show. Please come out and vote, and I'd love your support. Please come out and vote for me on Tuesday. Anyone in the 2nd Congressional District, I'll earn your trust day in and day out. That's all I can say.
Hey, thank you for coming on. Check out Dr. Stewart Levenson's Facebook page, Dr. Stewart Levenson for Congress. I pronounced his name right the whole show. I want that to stand for the record. I did not call him Steve. Dr. Stewart Levenson. And thank you so much for coming on and being our guest tonight.
It was truly my pleasure. You guys do just so much good work. You keep veterans from falling through the cracks. You really do.
All right, that's Dr. Stewart Levenson. Bo, it's all yours, brother.
Yeah, go to LevensonForCongress.com to find out more about his views and what he's wanting to do when he makes it to Congress. That was Recoil. What do you think about what Dr. Levenson is trying to do?
Well, I think it's awesome, and a couple of takeaways is like from the very first question Six asked, the response was, I don't really even want to be a politician, but he's coming into government to help the American people and to work for the American people, and then he wants to go right back to what he has done before, and that's for, of, and by. That's what our founding fathers intended for us. That's incredible. Right. That's something we haven't had in a long time.
Right. And, he's straightforward. He doesn't beat around the bush. I mean, he doesn't fumble over his words like a lot of congressmen or politicians that I've heard speak have done. He knows what he wants to do, and he knows what he wants to do for the people. I mean, so, but if you didn't,
we were going to commercial.
Going to commercial? No, not yet. Not yet. We are trying to get Not Another Military Spouses show back and up next Friday. Also,
what
Contraband.
Show?
Do what?
What happened to that show?
Well, I was
Somebody
going.
Get deployed?
I was going for a month.
Oh, you almost died.
Yeah.
I see our old friend Howard Berry is on live with us this evening as well.
Yes,
in the chat room.
Hey, oh my gosh, I forgot. Well, it was first. I wanted to stand for the record. I did not swear during that last segment. Nobody thanked me, congratulated me. Good job. But
I didn't know we were supposed to.
Well, I mean, you know how hard it is for me not to swear, especially talking about the PA.
I know.
All right. Well, anyhow, I thought I did good not swearing. But Howard Berry. The good news is, and I don't even think Howard Berry already knows, but for those who were wondering, we've been trying to save money, and the flags here that we use for the memorial, we wanted to give to another state. We've been searching for over a month. Maine is covered. Mass has been covered. We've been looking for somebody in Vermont, and somebody did last week connect with me from the Vermont National Guard to pick up the flags. So Vermont will be getting a 30-day memorial for the flags for the Forgotten Soldiers Memorial. So that is good news. Howard Berry's been in touch with them and all that. So follow the page, and when I hear where it's going to be set up at, I will let you all know. So, but
yay!
As I was trying to say before DV6 took over again, we're trying to get Not Another Military Spouse edited and back on the air for you by next Friday, as well as the latest Contraband episode next Saturday with David Libby. You dick face.
Oh man, I'm sorry. It's kind of funny.
Asshole. But that's what we're working on. Recoil. How was your week, brother?
I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
Not this time.
Yeah,
not this time.
Yelled at Recoil.
Let's go back over the past 2.5 years and see how many times DV6 interrupted us, and then we'll put them all together with how many times we interrupted him.
It was a fantastic week. I lived through it.
That's good.
Oh,
That's
wait,
good.
what? You making fun because we almost died? You think we want to die? Well, some of us do, but yeah.
Oh, I thought Recoil was going to say more there for a second. We don't go to commercial until 10:25, DV6. Read the fucking itinerary.
Oh, my goodness.
This is just the weirdest, I'm just,
Jesus. It's been the same for how long? Oh, wait.
Guys keep changing this.
It's the lack of swearing. See, you could have burned up another 25 minutes if you'd thrown fuck in every other word.
Right?
Oh, no.
We haven't.
No, because I speak for all veterans, the veteran community, and all that. And I'm just terrible. Right. You should see the shirts I do. It's just, I'm the reason why. I should have asked Dr. Levenson if I'm the reason why the VA's killing people. Did you ever kill someone who saw a VA shirt? Oh, because, on this other Facebook page, it's like, they wear stay back 100 meters. Sorry if I'm not into, I'm a fucking big tough guy. Look at it. Come on. That's a humor. God. He doesn't play well with himself. Or whatever our shirt says.
Others. Good job.
Oh, man.
You're funny.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man. That's one thing you guys touched on is the nationwide reciprocity, which I am all for, but especially in areas where you guys are, where states are measured in minutes, not miles across.
Yeah. No, well,
one short trip to somewhere you need to go, you can be in 3 states.
Well, there are times when we do hit all 3 states. But again, the hardest thing is like, look, you're going there, you're going to a deeply divided House of Representatives and stuff, and it's just a mess. And, we're always willing to work. We'll work with the other side, but how do you work with somebody that's just dead set against, because of the party you're with or whatever? This country's a mess. And like I said, he's already started off on a good track record. He's pissing people off. He lost his job. He, stands up for what he believes in.
Yeah, and he could have lost a lot more than his job. I mean, he could have lost everything for doing that. So,
I think he's got to have half a brain because he's a doctor. So
no comment
he went to medical school, not gender studies. So that's a little harder.
I can't comment on the half a brain with all doctors.
Right? Did you purchase your doctorate from Phoenix, Arizona, or Phoenix University?
Well, I was scared when Google brought up that thing about and it was a good question. Ms. Google was a really good question, but unfortunately, though, that was one of the questions that I didn't have enough time for because it would have taken 10 minutes because we really do need to talk about that. We need to talk about it on DV radio. All these people that push these simple ideas. Everybody should get free health care. Well, first of all, let's just switch it and let's not say it's free health care. Let's say, free whatever. Well, when you're talking about something that's not you think the medical industry is regulated? It's really not. Anybody can charge, any hospital they all charge different prices. And if you ever try to find out what something costs, they'll never tell you because they want to just know what your insurance is and what's the maximum billable. So before you can mandate that everybody has something or that everybody purchases something, don't you think the whole industry should be overhauled? And so Walmart can't charge $50 for, to change your tire. There's rules and regulations and price controls on everything. And if you want to let the free market decide, well, but you can't mandate, these few hospitals that we do have that everybody gets it and then expect to get the quality care. Go look at Canada. I've watched Louder with Crowder's YouTube videos where he goes and tries to get an appointment through the Canadian healthcare system.
Right.
It's why are you trying to make everybody, give everybody something that's not, there's no control. Everything's crazy prices or whatever, and it's a mess. Fix that first, and then maybe. But then nobody's going to go to medical school for 10 years if they're only going to make $50,000-$60,000 a year as a state doctor.
Actually, Six, that'll weed out the ones that just want to do it for money.
Oh.
Yeah.
You want?
Let me spend.
You want to fix it?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars to go be a doctor and end up in debt.
Wait. What college is it that's doing the free tuition? Google for.
That's NYU.
So there you go. They can go for free, and
that's the medicals. Yeah, NYU
there you go.
medical school.
The other thing too, with Medicare, the government it can't even negotiate with drug companies to get for better prices and stuff because I don't know, something about it. That's not right. Well, we're the biggest buyer of their drugs with the Medicaid program. You think we could get a good deal? Yeah, that's all right. Stop me across the state line with a gun. And a gerbil in my back pocket.
That's insane. Like, I didn't know that there's on one of the back roads that you go across state lines
all the time.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I know that there are some, but I didn't realize that the one that he was talking about. It sounded like it's just a curvy road, and in certain spots.
We've done it. Remember how we're driving and we're in Massachusetts, we're in New Hampshire, and we're back in Mass. But you're Ms. Google, so.
Hey, you can go to Virginia just walking up my road in, 5 minutes?
Thing again.
So.
Well, yeah, but.
I mean.
So. But, we gotta, in September 11th, I'm not looking forward to that day. It's like, how dare you post a meme on that day? That's just plain wrong. No fun today.
What? So it'll be no fun Tuesday? Yeah.
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. Well, at least our voting location is close to us. We don't have to walk forever. It's at the school, isn't it?
I'm not walking anywhere in Gilson because that ain't close.
No, I'm saying, like, we could technically walk there.
Technically, you're high.
No, I'm not.
What school are you talking about we can walk to?
Oh, my God.
There's no school near us.
The one by that store with those people standing outside by the fire barrel?
And then coming back would be 2 miles uphill.
That's why I said technically. We could technically walk there.
Recoil with the guys at the dumpster.
Said literally.
Did you hear him? It sounded like he was drowning.
We can literally walk there.
I screwed the vets up in the truck when I took them all out shopping. I had to run into Walmart. Nobody was going in that day. And I says, I'll be right out. I'm just going to leave the truck running for y'all. And so I'm grabbing. I says, I don't need my phone. Yeah, I better take my phone. I took a radio and I was going. And then I stopped and come back and go, oh, yeah, I left my Star Trek communicator in there. If it goes off, don't answer. I'm not supposed to be on Earth. And they just looked at me like, I think we need to drug test him.
Oh, my God.
I said it so serious, though. I was going through it. Oh, and if the communicator, that's my Star Trek communicator. If that goes off, don't answer it because I'm not supposed to be on Earth. David looked at me. The guy in the back was like, what? Because, I'll leave my phone. That's what it was. I left my phone and the iPad. Sometimes Bo will call. I'll get back to the truck. They'll go, oh, yeah, your phone kept going off with messages. The iPad went off with the Skype call. We didn't touch nothing. All right, thanks. So that's why I was like, I'm leaving my phone. If it goes off, don't answer it. And da-da-da. Then I remembered I had the communicator.
That's
it has to stay in the truck because Google's threatening to hide it on me or steal it. That, our office person. Up against me.
Oh my God, because it's freaking annoying.
Speaking of the farm and changes, within the next week and a few days, the DV Farm website will be completely redone. So when you guys go over there within the next week or so, and it looks completely different, don't fret. We've been planning this for the last 9 months. It's taken some time.
You know what? Is that a dig at me?
No, not
it's
at
like
all.
a pregnancy.
Not at all. DV6 in Google. We've been working on this for the last.
I did do the video on the horses.
Anyway, when you ask somebody for information and they wait 9 months and then the deadline's in a week. Anyway,
I keep forgetting that you ask for stuff because it's not on my list.
You guys were all trying to die.
9 months. 9 months.
All right, I'll do it tomorrow.
Anyway, when you guys go to dvfarm.org between now and September 18th, if it's changed by the 18th, don't worry about it. It's supposed to be changed. We done that, and it's going to have a completely different look. Hopefully, it'll be more navigatable and stuff like that, and be easier for you guys to find stuff and what have you.
And for those who don't know, Bo has been a major factor in keeping that thing up to date and running. So I'll tell you one of the biggest, if you like something, I'll just wait. But one of the best features on it, and I hope the new website has it, Bo, is that DV Farm in the news. Mm-hmm. I use that so many times on intake.
Yeah, actually, speaking about the news portion of the new website, now
bad
it's
news.
No, it's good news. When you go to the main news tab, it's going to have our history. So you can click on that, and it's not cluttered, and you have to scroll through every single thing to find what you want, whether it was 2016 or present time. You can go to the year, click on it, find that article, so forth and so on.
Yeah, because they told me, some of these caseworkers have told me that they've shown their clients, their veterans, the videos from the news articles. To give them an idea what the farm is, what we do, and everything, and it's been extremely helpful because them trying to get it from me, they only have like 5 minutes to talk, and it takes me, 15 minutes to get a 2-minute statement out. So,
yeah. So
I haven't really gotten a chance to check out everybody's playlist yet. But do any of you guys follow modern rap music?
Marquis.
I'm just trying to figure out what turns
a question for our resident black guy, and he's not here tonight.
Well, these guys are both white anyway, but I'm trying to determine when did rap music
their race,
right, or their sex for that matter. When did rap music become like soap operas for teenage boys? With this whole Marshall Mathers and MGK thing.
Yeah. Honestly, that has got to be the dumbest publicity stunt I've ever seen a rapper do. Yeah. It's the only genre of music where they will put each other down in their own music just to get people
it'd be
to
really
listen.
cool is if they got signed up with the MMA and actually climbed into a fucking cage.
Right?
So,
Scotty
seriously,
Pig, I accepted your friend request, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you start sending me Facebook messages and all that shit, 1, I don't see that shit anyhow. 2, that account's always getting banned, so...
It's a good thing that Recoil wasn't talking about something.
Oh, sorry. Well, we were talking about the farm, and next thing you know, we're rapping.
God.
Is it my turn to interrupt now?
Yes.
Yeah, Recoil, I don't get this whole thing where rappers feel the need to quote-unquote diss one another, make an album about it and go, yeah, I put him down, I showed him, I'm a beat his ass. Yeah, you done a comedy skit in rap form with some beats, dude. Way to show him. Way to send him to the ICU.
Can I just share something? I'm reading the reviews on the DV Farm page. The farm page. And this guy writes, the goats are super friendly. This person recommends DV Farm, and then the comment is, the goats are super friendly. And somebody wrote, especially their sport round one named Chode, and he wrote, eliminate the threat to goats everywhere.
That's great.
Oh, shit.
Man.
Oh, great place, amazing service to help veterans. Yup, even the Coast Guard. Oh, man. Age.
Oh, man.
I was trying to find the reviews on the DV page because there's some humorous ones.
While DV6 is trying to find some humorous ones, I've had a lot of people email me while I was recovering from my surgery, asking what you guys can do and stuff like that for the radio. Honestly, if you guys know any guests, or if you know what you can do editing or anything like that, or you have ideas for shows or segments, let us know. If you know someone that has a show that may want to be affiliated with DV Radio and get their show here on dvradio.net, let them know about us. Have them email us, or they can fill out the be a guest form in the appropriate spot. There's so many things you guys can do that I can't sit here and verbally tell you, because my mind's mushy anyway, and DV6 likes to beat it all day and night and day.
One. Don't even try my line. you guys are so young, Paul.
What?
Well, it seems that you're the sharpest tool in the box.
Okay.
There's definitely the baby.
Yes, I am, but I'm not the youngest. That's the good.
Who's the youngest?
I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest on here, but I'm not the youngest throughout.
Right.
That works with the organizations.
No, but he was talking about on here on the radio.
I know, and I clarified all of that, Miss Google.
I'm just letting you know what he was talking about.
Mrs. Google, you listen to me.
It's Miss Google. We's in the South now.
I have to pull out my yardstick if you don't listen, Miss Google. I remember a teacher that would slap our fucking hands with the fucking yardstick when I was in school. Holy shit. You wouldn't think a flimsy ass wooden yardstick would hurt.
I didn't know they could do that in 2008.
Okay. I was going to Iraq in 2008, but okay.
Well, still close enough.
And I think
Nike's online sales jumped 31%.
You know what's funny? I made a fucking post the other day. I was like, while you're all protesting burning shoes and throwing Nikes away, their stock just dropped. Thank you so much.
Why, and there's always ass hats everywhere. Why would you set your shit on fire? I mean, you just look as bad. But the difference between liberals and conservatives? Conservatives, they burn their shit, and liberals, I guess, go out and burn other people's shit.
So true.
And I would tell you what,
that's like sports. When your team wins, you burn the city down. What the fuck?
Oh, that's been a tradition since 1972 when mesothelioma came out.
Unless you were unless you're Irish and playing rugby, and every time somebody scores a goal, you got to burn something down and get drunk.
Yeah, right? It's like, come on.
Every time.
What's wrong with people?
Oh,
I actually. Fuck you! I'm killing you. After this show, I'm killing you. You're dead. I'm chopping you up into little pieces. Putting you in the goat feed. God damn it. You fuck-sickled
Google's giggling.
Right? Google giggles, but she never stops.
Oh, man, that was funny. Good job. It was like you guys practiced it.
Yeah, we don't practice shit.
Thanks, Google.
Kind of like when Google told DV6 not to insert himself in her back seat.
I don't think too many people caught that except a couple in the chat.
And of course, then we go to an actual legitimate guest that I can't bring it back up.
Right. I wanted to say something so bad. I wanted to say something so bad, but I was like, I can't go over for this break. There's no way. I was like, the one night we have the hardest break time ever. I can't do it. Oh my god, but
that's pretty funny. I didn't even realize that I said that.
You did.
Well, obviously.
Holy shit. Oh my god. If you guys didn't know and you're listening to us live, we are on podcast. You can go over to Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and I hear there's a shit ton more other places that you can find us. I don't know where at, because the internet works that way. But, subscribe to us. Share us.
Until we get banned from Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and the iTunes Store and the App Store.
Right?
I'll tell you guys what.
Then you'll be able to find us on
Bo's couch.
on the DV forum at dvbarracks.com.
That's dvbarracks.com. Actually, Six, hopefully by Christmas, I won't be on the couch anymore.
Ooh, it'll be a nice Christmas for you then.
Yeah, but I'm still going to stay in the yard. I can't see me,
Well, I wasn't
going to
inviting
get you a
in.
coffin-shaped bed.
Well, actually, today is Saturday. I believe Friday it was. I signed all the papers to start the VA approval, the actual VA approval. I signed all the papers.
5 fucking years.
Yeah, I actually signed that to get it started. So it's all in the VA's hands completely now. So whatever they kick back, I got to sign and all that shit.
They're pretty much trying to wait for lumber to be extinct.
Well, I don't want to jinx it, Bo. I mean, this is something that I'm sure you're not the only one, but we've been personally following your story. For those who don't know, this motherfucker is in the living room of his house for years. And that's... he doesn't complain about it or anything, but I could not do that. The VA has had the money and told him many times that this is going to happen, only to be shot down and something's not signed right or you farted wrong.
It actually started out. It actually started out. They said there was no possible way that we could do that, and then come to find out they straight up lied to me. I was like, oh. That's how the VA is going to work, huh? So, yeah.
I feel like they were just telling you that in hopes that you would die.
Honestly,
that's standard operating procedure.
I'm not even going to joke, Google. I think something like that may have crossed a few of them's minds. Because not long after that, that's when they put me on the Humira, and every couple of weeks I was in the hospital about dead. And I'm like, oh.
So they tried to kill you.
Yeah, pretty much. They tried to poison me.
Jesus Christ.
But we need to take a break so Google can do her 3 articles because she got one sent to me, and I'm sure she's found 2 more since, pre-show. Whatever.
I only have 2.
Well, if you need one more, we'll talk about the first sergeant banging the private in his infantry unit.
No.
Well, that's only been happening for, 200 years.
Not infantry.
Why do you think they call them 11
no, they always had to bring in backup for that.
They had to hide it.
Oh, shit. But we are going to...
Oh, wow. We just lost all those people that were listening. Scotty Pig's gone now.
Anyway, we are going to take a quick, short break since Google says we always go like 15 minutes on the second break. I don't know how. But anyway... What?
Better late than never.
What? We're 4 minutes late.
All right, I'm so confused. I'm muting.
Oh my god. Anyway, we are going to go to break. You're listening to Barracks Talk right here on WDVR. Ever shop online at smile.amazon.com? Why not give back to the DV Farm by making it your charity of choice? No extra fees or hidden costs, and a portion of your purchase goes directly towards the DV Farm, located in Gilsum, New Hampshire, and helping to continue its mission. That's smile.amazon.com, and be sure DV Farm is your charity of choice. For more information about the DV Farm, please go to dvfarm.org. I see a little bit of foreskin.
Because this is how it is.
Yes. Good thing we didn't say you better tune in. This is one for the record books. You don't want to miss it.
We'll talk quietly amongst ourselves.
This is fucking fantastic.
On DV Radio.
You big dummy. When the president lies, it's not called a lie. It's called executive privilege. I'm Fred G. Sanford, and the G is for Guadalcanal. Want to see my diary? Well, you a veteran? That's right.
Oh, did you see much action?
Well, only on me.
And now, it's time to find out what stupid junk is in the news.
All right, we only have 2 stories for this evening, so we'll start with the one about a man having sex, but not
Google.
the one that Six mentioned,
Google.
because that is not one that I have.
Google.
Yes.
Was that a short enough break for you?
Yes.
Was it as long as all the other ones?
Yes.
It was as long as the other ones?
I don't know. I don't pay attention.
I'm just asking because one week you're like, that was such a long break. And then it's like 8 minutes. And this one was like 9 minutes and 44 seconds. And I was like, wonder if she can tell.
I judge by whether or not I fall asleep before I hear the junk that's in the news intro.
Right?
Really?
There's only 3 cookies left out there. I'm gonna go get one.
And that's been your stupid news that's in the junk today. Yeah, I said stupid news that's in the junk.
Right.
News in the junk.
All right. So
Recoil got it.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's get this going. So, first article, I forget what day I heard this, but it was pretty funny. Police arrest man for sexually assaulting beaver in Columbia Park.
This was Recoil's news story, not Google's.
I threw it up for Google.
That's
so
why I
great.
heard it.
It was so great. I just read the headline and I didn't have to read any more. I just read the headline and fucking died. I couldn't do nothing for like 10 minutes.
When his buddy said, I bet you can't hit that beaver, I don't think that's quite what he was talking about.
So this happened in Washington State. A man has been arrested for animal cruelty after a woman said she witnessed him sexually assaulting a beaver in Columbia Park late Monday night. The woman said she saw someone run the animal over with a car and then tried to help it by wrapping it in a towel before going home to get a container to put it in. She claimed she returned to the site about 30 minutes later and found a man on top of the beaver with his pants unzipped. And then she called it off.
So not only did dude violate the beaver, he's trying to fuck a roadkill beaver.
Right? The witness said the beaver did not survive.
I wonder if it's warm still and juicy.
I'm like, oh man. He's and 35-year-old Richard Delp is facing charges of animal cruelty and possession of a methamphetamine.
Did you say it was in Oregon?
Washington State.
Washington State. Is it mushroom season there by chance?
I don't know. I don't know.
Holy fuck.
But there you have it.
I'm pretty sure even mushrooms don't make you want to fuck a beaver.
I don't know. I've never had any mushrooms, so I'm sure as fuck not going to now.
Wait, there's two factors there that I've never been involved with, so I'm really...
Right? I'm definitely not having fucking Washington State mushrooms.
All right, and the other news story. This is in Connecticut. A woman hospitalized after lighting dynamite, thinking it was a candle.
What the fuck? No!
So, a 30-year-old Connecticut woman severely injured her hand and her face when she lit a quarter stick of dynamite that she mistook for a candle after thunderstorms knocked out power on Thursday night. Police said the woman was injured around 9:20 p.m. at the family's Lindley Street home in Bridgeport. It's a fancy neighborhood, by the way. Bridgeport is pretty high-end. And her husband and 2 children were home when the horrific accident happened.
You know what a fucking quarter stick of dynamite actually is? It's what they used to call the M1000 firecracker. How the fuck do you mistake that for a fucking candle?
Because maybe it actually was a quarter stick of dynamite.
Still, how the fuck do you mistake that for a fucking candle?
For a candle, I know, right? The family had intended to buy emergency lighting from Home Depot, but the store was closed. I
they
wonder
went to
why.
the Dynamite store.
Then they remembered seeing something in the basement that they thought were candles. The family had bought the home 2 years previously, and the other residents had left it behind. But when the mother tried to light one of the devices,
Oh my
she
god!
suffered extreme injuries.
I
First
can
off, a
only
stick of
imagine.
dynamite is not a device.
No, it's not. Not by the fucking faintest.
Dear God.
Well, that's like me when they overfilled my propane tank, and somebody had told me you can relieve the pressure. And I took it out in the yard and poked a screwdriver in that valve. And
Oh my god!
remember that? The tank went one way, and I got blown the other with all that propane.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw my life flash before my eyes. Yeah.
Well, what
I
gets
remember
me,
that.
what gets me even more is a candle has a scent. TNT smells like fucking dirt.
I love
Like-
that smell.
Like what the fuck? Yes, I would like an earthy smell tonight while I burn my candles for our romantic dinner and our 2 roses and a table for 2, please. Like what the fuck?
I think it's pretty funny. Like how do you mistake a stick of dynamite?
You can
For a
feel the
candle.
paper. You can feel the paper around it. I'm pretty sure no candle in existence feels like fucking paper. Pretty sure about that.
Well, no charges will be filed, even though it is illegal to buy dynamite or fireworks or firecrackers in Connecticut. And they're not filing charges because the family claims that this was left behind by the previous owners.
I can guarantee
So are
you.
they going to hunt them down?
I can guarantee you this is one of those families that as soon as they lit it and it went, there's like, oh, where's the water? And as soon as, they're that type of people that thinks water is going to put out a fucking fuse. Like,
Right?
holy shit.
And to think you used to be able to go to the local 5 and dime and buy a couple sticks.
We had a old mom and pop shop that sold M80s up until it closed like in 2002. They sold actual M80s, and I was like really surprised.
Well, shit, if a farmer had a big rock he wanted to get out of his field, he could go buy a couple sticks and blow it the fuck out of the field.
Right? Well, now all you got to do is have tannerite and a fucking rifle.
Right?
Holy what the fuck, man? Do they not teach anything in school at all? Like,
Have you seen the current state of our country?
well, according to the media, it's
What are
fucking
they
Cuba.
teaching in school?
According to the media, we live in fucking Cuba, basically. So,
Yeah.
All right now they're mostly teaching that you can choose what your sex is.
That is correct. Can we choose our race also?
That's coming.
Oh, that's coming.
I know, right?
that's coming. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're Michael Jackson, just putting that out there. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Thought I'd throw that out there for you, since, I mean, you want to bring it up now. I mean, he done it in the 80s, so. What'd you fuck up? Oh, I know what's happening.
Must be pain.
Yep.
Like, head or something.
You probably moved wrong.
That's crazy. Oh, man.
Tonight during Pillow Talk, you get to hear DV6 moan and groan at the top of his lungs.
God. God.
All I can think of is password. And the secret word now is DV6 groans.
Yeah, right? Okay. Man.
He must have stepped on Storm's tail.
Now, who the hell's in charge of fucking promo codes nowadays? Because they're
Not
getting
me.
really lame. They're getting really lame.
Sorry.
Well, you can get a certain percentage off just by typing percentage off. Wow, that was a good one.
Oh, man.
I want $10 off. I'll just type in $10 off. Enter. I got $20 off.
Wait and see if it works.
The thing about online now, though, with codes and shit, is if you give a certain code to, say, email subscribers, and one of those ass bags is one of those mystery shoppers, they'll put it on every fucking website that gives you free promo codes. And I'm like, really?
Fuck yeah. Retell Me Not rocks, man.
Retell Me Not.
Oh, man.
I'm not going to
Retell
lie.
Me Not's awesome. Almost every promo code I've ever gotten from them worked.
Oh, I'm glad they work for you. I've had 2 work from Retell Me Not. 2.
Well,
2.
I don't shop at Double-Ended Dildos or Us, but I mean the ones I get from them.
That was one fucking time. All right.
Oh. Just once.
Just once.
And I couldn't even get 10% off.
I couldn't get 10% off because it was huge. I mean, it cost a lot. It was expensive.
Right.
You know what? If I wanted to, I could not put in the keywords on YouTube, dildo. They will flag that as adult content and take it down.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Unless it's for educational purposes, you can't do it.
Educational.
And I actually thought about changing all of our shit to educational and just putting the most fucked up shit you could imagine in keywords.
Wow.
I actually, when they took the shots fired down that Bender had made about the Tide Pod challenge, I actually tried to do that as an educational video, and they still wouldn't let me put it back up.
Wow.
Because it wasn't telling you to go fucking eat Tide Pods, and I even put in the description, do not try any of this at home. We are not advocating the Tide Pod challenge or the lack thereof and stuff and they're like, you can't have this on YouTube. You're telling people to go eat Tide Pods. Yeah. Like, go fuck yourself.
Jesus Christ.
I hope this is the one fucking show that gets put up on YouTube that somebody actually listens to. Because you're fucking everybody over. It was for creators, man. Let us have some freedom. Jesus, your censorship's bullshit. Anyway, sorry, I need to get off my soapbox.
It's alright.
Hey, Recoil, I don't hear you in the background.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm just
He
sitting here
probably
sweating
went
my fucking satchel off instead.
That's why I said that, because I can feel the sweat rolling down my back right now, and the fan's hitting me. So when it goes from my neck down, it like gives me chills. I'm sitting here fucking doing those fucking chill shakes, and it's hurting my goddamn back so bad right now. Oh shit. Just so you guys know, we are going to have a Halloween show next month. We don't know who's going to be involved yet. That is on October 31st. That is on a Wednesday. We will have a Barracks talk October 27th. That is Halloween themed, but it won't be the Halloween show for DV Radio. So look forward to that. If you don't have kids or you don't want to go out late at night because, kids suck with candy, even though I love kids. I've seen some kids, they can look at candy and get a fucking sugar high, and I'm like, God damn, I'm glad I wasn't that child. I think a few people have asked about Joker. Yeah, he'll be at the Halloween show. That's what I was told. Anyway, Recoil, where can people go if they don't give a shit about Halloween shows or DV radio or anything like that, want to stay away from their family, loved ones, and friends, and everything else?
At least from a social media standpoint, they can head over to dvbarracks.com. That's our forum. We created the forum specifically to have a place for DVs and only DVs. So you can head on over there to dvbarracks.com and create yourself an account. Once you have an account created, you can go to the top right-hand corner of your screen and select your profile. Once you're in your profile, you can change your name to any call sign you want to use and change your picture to any picture you want to use, and you are free to use the forum in anonymity. I dig it. You'll dig it. Head on over to dvbarracks.com. Get yourself an account created. There's all the typical DV shit over there that you would expect, including all of the regular fuckery. But there's also my personal favorite section, which is the peer support section. And that's brothers and sisters like you and me, looking out for brothers and sisters like you and me. So one last time, that's dvbarracks.com. dvbarracks.com.
Head on over to the DV forum at dvbarracks.com. Sign up today, right now. Do it. You gotta do it. Okay, so we did have another guest scheduled last month, but we had to push all of our guests back. It will be Miller. He's a 14-year-old, and his mom, Chrisilla. I hope I'm saying your name right, because I never asked you in the email, and I feel like a dumbass for not. But Miller has went above and beyond what most 14-year-old teenagers do. I mean, you just be amazed. He's helping the veteran community. He makes shirts. If you want to go look at him before he comes on next Saturday, which is September 15th, go to doworkthatmatters.us. That's doworkthatmatters.us. I didn't know what you guys were doing at 14, but I sure as hell wasn't giving a shit about anybody else but me and probably, I don't know, video games or something. I don't know. I really don't remember. But yes, him and his mom are going to be on hopefully next week, as long as nothing happens. You know, I don't get an infection. Recoil doesn't send me a huge dildo and I get it stuck in a certain orifice. Stuff like that. So yeah, retellmenot.com is a promo code sharing website. I love it. No sign up or anything. That's what Recoil said, and dbradio.net/chat. No, we're not promoting it. No, they don't pay us. You pay us, Retell Me Not, and, you know, we'll promote you more. Anyway, go over to Twitter at...
Well then.
Go to Twitter at DV_DV Radio. Follow us. I try to interact with as many people as I can. You can ask Oink, I believe Tree Hugger, and a few others. Forgive me for not remembering your nicknames from here to there, because you guys like to change names every fucking where. I wouldn't even know it if my mom went on Twitter. That's how fucked up some of you are. But anyway, I try to interact with all of you. Please go over there, follow us, and when you put something stupid on there, I'll try to retweet it. Anyway, Facebook, Dysfunctional Veterans, and DV Radio. Be sure you like and share the pages. Keep updated with merchandise, DV Farm stuff, everything you could imagine. And speaking of DV Farm, smile.amazon.com. Make DV Farm your charity of choice. Not to mention dvfarm.org. The website will be changing by the 18th. It will be changing by the 18th. So when you see that it has completely changed, don't be like, oh my God, I didn't know it's going to change. We've warned you for the last 9 months that it's changing soon. But, yeah. Did I get Skype message? Dude, probably not. Seeing as how I have no clue what Skype messages you're talking about. Not got them. But, thank you. Yes. Thank you to Nightcap Productions for sponsoring DV Radio. Please go get their apps on your, appropriate app store on your iOS and Android devices. What the Forecast, as well as Backseat Navigator. Hopefully we can have William King on very, very soon. He is a Navy vet himself, and he's an all-around wonderful, hilarious guy. We email, we've spoken on the phone. Love the guy. And thank all of you who donate to DV Radio. If you're one of the people that wants to donate to DV Radio, excuse me, please go to dvradio.net and click on, down at the bottom, there is an orange section that tells you how to donate. Just follow those steps. If you want to give more, give less, email me and I'll send you the link so you can do that. I know $5 might be out of your way, and I'm sure some of the other prices might be out of your way. Just email me and I will send you a link to actually give more or less. And I think that's it. Don't forget YouTube, DV Radio, Dysfunctional Veterans. What am I forgetting? Somebody, let's go. Let's go, guys. Okay, guess I'm not forgetting anything. Google, since you never have anything to say, do you have anything to say tonight at the end of the show?
Don't get caught doing stupid shit.
Recoil?
He's already gone. He said, see ya.
No, I had a company commander that used to say, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah, yeah.
But in any case, be safe and keep looking out for each other, fuckers.
Yeah, everybody, it was great. It's great having you guys listening to us. We can't thank you enough. Please share the podcast. Let us know what you think of each show, what you like, what you don't like, so we can cater it to your listening pleasure. And to add on to what Google and Recoil said, smell the fucking Dynamite next time. If it don't smell like fucking roses and Pot-Purée, it's not a fucking candle. Don't light it. Until next week, Pottsicles. Bye-bye.
Hit us up on Facebook and Twitter